All right, here we go. So we are going to commentate on Paranoid and Gozik's game here. And they are awesome enough to let me have visibility of their decks in their hands. So that's awesome. So let's start with Gozik since he's going to be the starting player. He's keeping this hand, which why not? He's got 2 econ cards, a relatively safe early agenda, big Lotus Field, and a cheap piece of ice. So in a lot of ways, this is almost a perfect starting hand. Not really sure exactly what he's going for. Let's take a look at his deck. See if he's trying to do the kill or Astro or something in between. Wow, okay, something in between. I see 1 Biotic, a couple snares. So it should be interesting here to see what Gozik does with this deck. He's a great player. Always tends to play decks that are a little bit different and unusual. So he installs the pad, puts the Hunter over R&D. Oh no, what was that? Shoot, I missed that. Sorry. That's what I get for talking. We'll figure it out eventually. So Paranoid's going to run the remote here, Dirty Laundry. I assume he's probably then going to go ahead and drop a security testing. Yeah, that's a pretty nice opening hand there. Gets him a lot of econ started, that's for sure. So he's going to be rolling in money. Plus, he's got 2 special orders. This is interesting. We have 2 really good opening hands here. So let's see what happens. Gozik draws into a Roto Turret, reses that pad. The one thing that Paranoid is going to want to find sooner than later is a Desperado so he can get paid to trash these assets. My guess is he'll probably lay off on that, trashing the assets until he can find that Desperado. But we'll see. We'll see what he does. So, shoot, I really wish I would have seen where he put that ice. Clearly, he put the Lotus Field somewhere, and I didn't see. He must have drawn into the ice. I apologize for missing that. I'm sure you guys saw it, and I didn't. But, or maybe it happened while I was looking at the deck, so my apologies. But, so he takes credit, puts in the hedge fund, and then installs the Roto over Pad Campaign. Okay? So I like the play there. He's basically going to keep that Pad Campaign relatively safe for as long as he can. He's going to come in and check the hand. Gozik does not res. So he's more than happy to give up a Beal and or an NAPD here. Let's see if Paranoid comes back. Nope. He's going to run R&D now. Gozik opts to not res anything. So playing it loose, but playing it for the long game, trying to save his money here early. Probably feeling pretty lucky that he chose not to run HQ again. And I think smartly, Paranoid puts that Fairy in place, especially if he wants to get some other programs here going. He's going to want that Fairy to protect him. So Gozik draws into a fast track. First click, draw Pad Campaign. You'll probably lay that down and get another card. Would be my guess. Opts just to draw. So maybe he just wants to keep a full hand. There goes the Hunter on Archives to slow down the security testing a little bit. So Paranoid draws into a daily cast. Wow. He's gonna have a lot of money here. He's got a really nice setup going here. He's gonna have money and all the breakers he needs early, and that Masonry nice and early to help get him the card draw once he has his rig in place. So okay, so there was the Lotus Field on R&D. Not surprising. We're going to see the Hunter res, yep. So that's going to be slightly annoying. It's going to be annoying enough for Paranoid to not want to run archives just to get the security testing money. He's basically paying 2 to get 2. And even once he gets Desperado, paying 2 to get 1, you might as well click for a credit. Unless you have a reason to run otherwise. So last click, let's see what he does. Gets that last daily cast in play. So Gozik draws into a Project Beal. Nice time to res. He's probably nice time to res R&D the Lotus Field. Curious as to why he's opting not to put that second pad campaign down. Maybe I know why. He doesn't want to give an open server for security testing. So it looks like he's gonna play it pretty tight in terms of keeping his assets limited. He might drop that Jackson because if Paranoid runs on a Jackson, he can always use it and stop the 2 credits from coming in. And he might want to do that to look for a biotic labor. Or maybe some more ice, because he's definitely going to need some ice here eventually. Maybe he's playing mid-seasons. There we go. So that pop-up's probably going to go on like HQ or R&D. HQ probably, yeah. And then he'll discard the pad campaign, I imagine. Instead, discards, what was that? The Beal. Okay. Not a bad play. He's not worried about Paranoid probably running his archives outright right now, and by the time he is thinking about doing that, he'll have Jackson on the table likely. So nice roto on the remote there, forcing Paranoid to use that ferry. And now he's going to have to find another Sentry Breaker to be able to deal with that remote. I'd be a little bit surprised to see... Oh, wow. Nice play here from Paranoid. Comes in with a legwork. He's going to be able to trash the Jackson, score the Beal, and he'll probably leave the pad campaign. But nice turn there. Excellent turn for Paranoid. Put some pressure, made him res the roto, and then came in with a legwork when Gozik was broke and capitalized on that. So nice play there to Paranoid, who's got a quick 4-0 lead on the game here and has money as well. So Gozik goes ahead and puts down that pad campaign. Let's see if he puts a pop-up window in front of it, or if he just leaves it for Paranoid to make money on. So tough decision here when you're playing against security testing, whether or not you want to, how aggressively you want to build remotes. But he opts to put a second remote in play and give himself a little protection with a pop-up window. So he's doing this to try and get his long-term econ in place, which I can't blame him for. So Paranoid trickles off some money here from his daily casts. He's going to come and check out the pop-up window. Grab the 2 credits from successful run. And let's see if he comes back to check out that remote. I'm sure he suspects it's the pad campaign since he saw it, so he might not be in too much of a rush to do it. Femme Fatale is probably going to end up going on that Lotus Field. Would be my best guess. On 2 clicks, it's probably not a play he wants to make quite yet. And in fact, he might opt to make that play once he draws into an R&D interface. Last I know, Paranoid plays 3 R&D interfaces, so I'm sure he's reasonably confident that sometime in the near future he'll play draw into one. But having 6 cards here, all pretty good cards, and 2 clicks left is a little bit awkward, considering the cost of Fem. Probably doesn't want to play Masonori right now because he can still get tagged not having a rig. He might want to just go ahead and grab a breaker and install it, like Yogg. I think he plays Yogg, or maybe Corroder, and just get it down. But instead goes to be plays it aggressive and fast. Goes for an access and misses on the access. Takes a credit. So I mean, you can't blame him for just saying, "Hey, let's get an access." That's never a bad idea, just to grab a card when you can. I might have gotten use out of a special order since he's got 2. He's likely going to grab a Corroder and a Gordian or Yogg, whatever he plays, at some point anyway. Maybe he could save that inside job for when he has interfaces in play. But you know, again, just wanting to get an access, not a bad thing. If that's an Astro script, it's a great play. So what do you do? You make decisions and you live with them. So Gozik draws into a hedge fund here. He's on 4 credits. He's got a lot of ice res. Freelancer, he's going to probably try to get online at some point if he can land a tag. So finally draws into an Astro script. Unfortunately, there's not much he can do with it right now. So puts ice over R&D. He's got that double protected now. Back to Paranoid. Draws his 3rd special order. He'll probably draw again now, knowing that he can discard a special order. He's not probably going to need all 3, considering he already has a Fem in hand. Has another 2 fairies left in the deck. So instead, he goes ahead and gets his breakers going. So kind of what I was thinking last turn. But is going to come in and just trying to get 1 access at a time. So, of course, Gozik did not res the Tull Booth there on R&D. Interesting how Gozik is putting such strong ice on R&D. Oh, wow. So that biotic labor is absolutely huge. We're going to see the hedge fund here. No doubt we're going to see the hedge fund here. Yeah, there it is. And then probably just 2 credits. Yep, so that's what he does. Next turn, he's going to look to score that Astro if he can. Paranoid's probably going to run R&D again. Security testing doesn't really help him. Boy, he really needs Desperado. So he's going to go grab his Fractor now, I'm sure. Or maybe another fairy, but likely the Fractor. Yep, there's the fairy. So he doesn't want to lose any more programs. So I don't blame him for getting the fairy. Wanting to stay safe. Gozik is not going to res the Tull Booth because he's looking to Astro that... he's looking to biotic that Astro next turn. Paranoid is doing a great job of seeing the top card of his R&D every turn. So, well, Paranoid's inside job was kind of like a one-time, maybe like questionable play, but the fact that he's been able to get a top deck access every single turn there since he did that makes that a much better play because he hasn't let any holes slip through as far as seeing cards. And how about that? So Gozik now draws into another Astro script with his mandatory draw, and then finds a Bernice Mai. So let's see what he does with that. Gozik is going to have to res that. Yeah, he's going to have to res that. So we see a wraparound. He cannot afford to let him in there and lose the game. Especially he's got the first Astro scored. He's got a fast track in hand. So even though Paranoid has played this exceptionally well, I would say, um, to say that he's a shoe-in to win this is a long shot because he's got all the tools right now to win. He's just going to go ahead and push out this next Astro, I'm sure. I don't know why he'd do anything else. Unless he wants to secure being able to res that toll booth and risk it for another turn. He doesn't know that Paranoid has another special order in hand and a legwork. So if I were Gozik, of course I know I have the benefit of seeing Paranoid's hand, but he would definitely be taking a risk not scoring the Astro. So he goes for it, draws into a breaking news, which I'd say is a nice draw there, because now he can fast track. My guess is he'll probably next turn just try to score that breaking news, and then maybe fast track next turn into the winning agenda. And if he can find another biotic, it's pretty much game over at this point. So Paranoid's under a ton of pressure now. This has been a fast-paced game. Let's see what Paranoid can do. He's going to be able to get at least one access in R&D. I assume he's going to go for that. That's been consistent with what he's done so far. He might come in with a legwork this turn. Although he's probably not super convinced he has an agenda in hand. He's seen, I think, one or two cards. One of them was the Astro he just scored. So he's seen one or two cards that Gozik has seen one or two cards that Paranoid hasn't seen. So here comes a legwork. So I like this play here. It's tough to know whether you want to go for the hand here or for the R&D. Grabs the breaking news. That's huge access because that's the game. Look at that. Wow. Paranoid wins as runner. Great playing by Paranoid. Excellent job. Had accesses almost every single turn in Centrals. Gozik maybe got a little burned with his early risk-taking in terms of allowing that NAPD to get scored and not resing stuff on R&D and getting that Beal scored top decked. But those are some calculated risks you normally take as the corp. And a lot of games it works out for you, and sometimes the runner top decks things. But give Paranoid credit; he was in there every turn, seeing new cards, and that's what you got to do to win. So as you saw, the game was starting to turn for Gozik there. Things were starting to line up for him, but Paranoid did what it took. I think, yeah, I guess if Gozik was saying here, if he makes that Astro into a pad server, then he doesn't have to draw into the breaking news. I wonder if Paranoid legworks if he doesn't do that. If he doesn't get that extra draw, he might not legwork, and he might just go ahead and steal it in R&D anyway. So either way there, I'm not sure that it really mattered for Gozik in terms of how his agendas were layered in his R&D. But Paranoid comes out with a win, a big win against a great player. The winner of myself and B9 will take on Paranoid in the semifinal round. So this was a great game. Sorry if I missed any of the action, missed some cards, missed some ice, whatever. It's a little bit actually harder to keep up with the game a little bit when you can see all the cards switching back and forth. But great game, and I'll get this posted as soon as possible. There you go.